Coming up on the Good Morning Show, calling for changes to Florida's gun laws after a deadly shooting on Florida State's campus. What students and lawmakers are saying as those issues are under consideration at the Capitol.
Plus, one person is dead and two recovering after an Easter Sunday shooting in a South Georgia apartment complex. How that went down, coming up.
Trusted, local. The WCTV Good Morning Show starts now.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lenny Trevette.
Look at you, get started early with us this
Here
morning.
at the 5 o'clock hour.
Welcome, welcome.
Filling in for Madison this morning.
Yeah, she's got a busy week going on this week.
Yeah, she got a lot
I feel like there was a time when we used to have some regular newscasts, and now this year it feels like every week there's something special going on.
It's always something special.
So we got something special coming on at the end of the week. Of course, the honor flight stuff is going to be happening.
Yes.
Big deal. We'll get more into that later this week. We got plenty to get to right here, right now.
With the weather.
What did you think about yesterday?
You know what? I appreciated the clouds.
Okay. You see, it gets a little too hot too fast.
Yes, I was like, okay. I appreciated that coverage.
Okay.
The sun was trying to do too much.
It was. Some spots got warm yesterday. Some are going to get warm again today. We are kind of hoping some of those clouds do stick around again. You know, sometimes we start working our way into May and June. Now we start looking for those showers in the afternoon to cool things down. I don't think we're going to find very many showers. So if we do end up with more sun than clouds, those temperatures are going to climb kind of fast and climb kind of high. A lot of us are probably going to see top temperatures someplace in the middle and upper 80s, just like they did yesterday. We've got a little patchy fog going to look out for this morning, and most of us are going to start someplace near 60. It's 59 at Quincy and at Liberty County. It's 61 for Bainbridge, Camilla, and Thomasville. It's 62 in Valdosta. It's a little bit warmer at Madison and Hamilton, where it's 65 and 66. Now, I see some spots like Live Oak, where the visibility is down to 1 mile, or 4 miles, where Perry was down to 1 mile. Bluntstown, it's down near nil, and same with Apalachicola, only 1/4 mile. So there is some fog out there. There will be more areas of that over the next few mornings. We're ratcheting up the humidity just a little tiny bit each day, and we are going to not just see it with some fog and some clouds, but we're going to feel it when you step outside. Now, off to our north and west is where that boundary is, and that's where that boundary is going to stay. It just can't get here. High pressure out in the Atlantic is making it really hard. This boundary's pulling up stationary. It will eventually fizzle out, and then we'll see how things start to mix a little bit, but no real mechanism to shake those showers from the clouds, so I don't think we're going to find very many, not anytime soon. I will put some chances in the forecast as we increase the humidity a little bit, but I think most of us are going to stay dry, and most of us are going to get warm and muggy. I'll break down that full forecast in just a couple of minutes.
Students are back on FSU's campus and classes officially resume after last week's deadly shooting. The return to campus yesterday comes as an FSU student is accused of a shooting outside the student union, killing 2 people. One student that was shot spoke from her hospital bed yesterday about what happened last Thursday. Graduate student Madison Askins described how she played dead to avoid being shot a second time. She says she was walking to the student union with a friend when the gunshots rang out.
Anyways, we heard some gunshots. He came around kind of like the corner of that service road, and I saw him with a gun. We both took off running, and unfortunately I fell because I'm not the most graceful individual. And then he shot me right in the rear end. I knew I needed to stay where I was, and the mantra was, play dead, play dead. It's going to be okay, play dead, wait for the cops. But I'm not changing any plans for this mess. Like, he doesn't win.
Askin says she's slowly regaining strength to walk again as she's trying to get the feeling of her nerves back in her legs. She still plans on graduating in spring of next year.
Now, 2 people were killed in that shooting, 57-year-old Robert Morales and 45-year-old Tiru Chaba. 5 others were shot. 3 were released from Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, and 2 more were expected to be released last night, but we don't have confirmation on that just yet. Tallahassee Memorial says that 1 more student remains hospitalized in good condition. TMH would not confirm that patient's identified, but it's likely the gunman who was shot and injured by responding FSU police officers. Now, a spokesman with Tallahassee Police says they're not sharing any update on the investigation right now. TPD is taking the lead on the investigation into the shooting, and they say that the accused shooter, 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, will be taken to jail to face charges when he's well enough to leave the hospital.
And in the aftermath of Thursday's shooting, people are demanding Florida lawmakers to make changes.
Yeah, as our Capitol Bureau reporter Cody Butler explains, lawmakers are looking at what meaningful decision they can make before the end of session.
There are several makeshift memorials across Florida State's campus as they mourn the loss of 2 people who were killed and several others hurt in a shooting here last week. Now, students and members of the community are urging lawmakers to do something to prevent something like this from happening again, so another campus doesn't feel their pain.
Why do things like this, keep happening? I'm at a loss for words, honestly. We are the school shooter generation, so for us, we are prepared for these kinds of things.
For days, people have been gathering in Tallahassee demanding lawmakers do more to prevent mass shootings like the one at Florida State University last week. From tougher rules on guns.
What we need to do is have stricter gun laws, gun violence prevention laws, as well as, get into the community and talk about how we as individuals can keep our community safe.
To loosening them, allowing more people to be able to protect themselves.
Campus carry could have ended this situation very quickly. If I did have the ability to do so legally, I likely would have. And essentially what I would have done is immediately try to neutralize the threat.
Lawmakers won't do anything on campus carry this legislative session. A bill that would allow it was defeated in a Senate committee last month. Congressman Randy Fine carried the bill before he resigned from the state Senate. Friday, he criticized the one Republican who voted against the bill on social media.
There is no magic force field that keeps guns from coming onto our college campuses. There is not one. There are guns on college campuses right now. Lots of them. They're just being carried by the people who don't follow the rules.
Political analyst and FSU alum Susan McManus says it's natural to be having these conversations now.
The expectation is exactly this, that you do something now while everybody's, it's front and center for everybody that's looking at things.
Many policy discussions were happening before the FSU shooting. The House passed a bill repealing restrictions approved after the massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. That bill hasn't moved in the Senate. With the legislative session scheduled to end next week, major policy decisions likely won't be made in time. However, the budget hasn't been set. Tallahassee Representative Gallup Franklin says lawmakers can use that to help now.
So it's definitely important, of course, to think through that. We're in a time right now to make sure that we can be supportive, of course, making sure the resources are there, ensuring that folks are able to have food, finish college, finish the semester, have the mental counseling support that they need.
Now, lawmakers could come back to Tallahassee for a special session if they feel that there is an urgent need to address some of the issues raised from the shooting here at FSU. They did just that after the shooting in Parkland. In Tallahassee, I'm Cody Butler reporting.
And coming up at 5:30, we'll have more reactions from FSU students returning to class, as well as a push for the university to cancel final exams.
5:07 now. In other news, one person is dead and 2 others are injured after a shooting on Easter at an apartment complex in Colquitt County. Moultrie police say it happened early Sunday morning on Shy Manor Drive. The victim killed in the shooting was later identified as 22-year-old Reginald Tamor. Police say 2 other men, a 16-year-old and a 25-year-old, were also shot. Investigators say the gunfire started after the father of a teenage girl went to the complex to confront people she had argued with. Tamor's friends are now reflecting on the whole situation.
And we was having fun for them, and a crowd of people just walked up to the whole situation and started shooting in the crowd. It couldn't have been any of us that got hit.
Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old Bryce Johnson. He is now being held in the Colquitt County Jail while the investigation continues.
In Mitchell County, 2 teenagers are arrested for a drive-by shooting in Pelham. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says it happened Saturday. Officials say 2 teens were injured in the shooting but are expected to recover. A 16-year-old and a 15-year-old are arrested. They're facing several charges, including aggravated assault and 4 counts of drive-by shooting.
This morning, the world continues to mourn Pope Francis, who died yesterday at the age of 88.
Yeah, faithful Catholics yesterday packed St. Peter's Square and churches around the world for services honoring the pontiff. CBS's Tina Kraus has more on the Pope's final wishes.
The faithful flocked to St. Peter's Square for a second day to mourn the death of Pope Francis.
It's just a very sad day.
Around the world, worshipers also gathered for special mass services to honor the man known as the People's Pope, including Paris's famed Notre Dame, the pontiff's hometown, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and also in cities across the U.S.
I was away from the church for many, many years, and it was because of Pope Francis that I came back to embrace my faith.
World landmarks also paid tribute overnight. The Eiffel Tower went dark. New York's Empire State Building lit up gold and white. In a statement, the Vatican confirmed the 88-year-old pontiff died yesterday from a stroke that put him into a coma and caused irreversible heart failure. The statement also noted the Pope's 5-week-long hospitalization for double pneumonia earlier this year. He was still recovering when he made his final appearance at Sunday's Easter services. Cardinals sealed the papal apartment yesterday. In his will, the Pope left instructions for a simple burial at Rome's Basilica of St. Mary Major, with a one-word inscription on his tomb, Franciscus. World leaders are now preparing to make their way to Rome for the Pope's funeral.
He was a good man.
President Trump confirmed on social media that he and the First Lady plan to attend. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Rome.
Coming up at 6, we'll look at the church's selection process on how they choose a new pope. Still to come on the Good Morning Show, and the Oscar goes to artificial intelligence. We have that and more in entertainment news.
Things are getting a little bit warm. They're going to start getting a little bit more humid each of the next couple of days. We're still not going to feel like the middle of summer, but it may start feeling like the beginning of summer. I'll break it down. We'll have that full forecast in just a bit.